everybody. This is Jared and
Amanda.
We are starting a brand new podcast called, what are we calling it?
Faith, Family, and Fitness.
Faith, Family, and
the
Fitness.
3 F's.
There you go. I'm really excited about this.
Yes.
When we were talking about this last fall, about the opportunity for us to kind of almost, in a sense, peel back the curtain of our life a little bit and give people more details, because we get lots of questions about those three things the most. I mean, you get way more about fitness, obviously. I get more about faith and family, but we get these questions a lot, and we figured, hey, let's start taking the conversations that we have
and sharing them.
And sharing
whoever
them
wants to listen.
Yeah, so we have no idea where this is going to go,
right.
But it's just an opportunity for us to kind of continue the conversations we have at home. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important for us to kind of say this at the beginning. We are not professionals in a sense of we have it all figured out.
No.
We're on the journey of learning and growing and all those things. And
if it helps us, hopefully it'll help all of you that are kind of in the same boat with 3 kids. 2, I have the small business, he has the church, and we're all finagling it all together and trying to make it work. And sometimes we get it right, and then other times we don't. So we're going to share it all. We're going to be real and raw about it, and it's going to be fun.
I agree. And it won't just be us all the time. You talked about bringing some value of nutrition in.
And the fitness aspect, and because that's a huge passion of mine. And we'll talk about the family dynamic, which will be, parenting is a whole nother beast. So we're really excited to be able to share how we're making it all work, and the victories and also the failures in this whole world we're living in.
Yeah, so good. Before we begin, let's thank our sponsors and thank Starbucks for
yes, we'll probably have coffee at every podcast because it gets us.
We should have called it
day.
Faith, Family, Fitness, and Fuel.
That's actually a really good idea.
Which is coffee. We're huge coffee drinkers. Around here.
We love the coffee.
Yeah. Okay. So let me, because I think this is brand new.
Yes.
A lot of people know who we are. Mm-hmm. Some might just stumble upon this on YouTube or whatever.
Right.
Real quick, the elevator speech of Amanda. Who are you? What do you do? Where are we at? Go for it.
So a lot of that, right now in my world, I own Amanda Moore Performance, and that is a big deal in our family and our life. And it's just been, and we're going to share how it even was started. And I know this is our first podcast, so I don't want to go into deep detail, but I think it'll be really encouraging for those of you that are trying to do something new and scary. And that's kind of been my last 5 years of just going for it and going after it. So I'll be talking about that more. But Amanda Moore Performance, we own a small boutique gym, but we also do online coaching. I'm a big runner, and we'll talk about me being an athlete as well.
I mean, I'm not just a runner. You're a really accomplished and really great runner, marathon runner, and half marathon runner. You win races and all those types of things. I mean,
I love it. And actually that's another cool thing we can talk about, finding that in my 30s. I never thought I would be doing what I'm doing now. And it's just those of you that are scared to try something new, don't let your age, a number, scare you from trying something, and you never know what you can accomplish. That's why I look at this space and I'm what just happened? This is because doing something scary and being okay with failing. But yeah, it's been exciting. It's an exciting ride. So yes, it's been really cool to have people from all over, men, women, even children, really growing in their fitness, and also just themselves, and finding, wow, I can do something. I'm 80 years old and I can lift this much weight. It's really been awesome to see the community and culture that we've created here.
Let's just, why not talk about that today then? So
yeah.
We moved, Amanda and I.
Yes.
So we moved here with our family, our 3 kids.
And that was a big step of faith for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We moved here August 2017.
Right.
Had an opportunity to become a lead pastor of a church here. Mm-hmm. And I mean, how did you stumble? When we moved here, was this a vision that you had eventually one day? How did you stumble into Amanda Moore Performance in the space and all that?
Yes, it really was. I was really diving deep into running, and fitness was always a part of my life since I was 12 years old. My parents that's what we did. We went to the gym every day. You were in sports. This is just a part of our lifestyle. So I just had that ingrained in me from like a really young age. So I've loved it, but I also am a teacher. So it's like balancing, okay, well, I went to school to be a teacher, but I'm really fighting this urge to help people on their fitness journey. And so I just said, okay, I'm going to get certified. I'm going to get plugged into a local gym here. And and I just started having classes at the church. And One Life was just super generous to allow me to do that. And it was really exciting to see women of all ages come. And I'm like, this could be something not just for at One Life, this could be for a community of people that can just feel not intimidated to walk into a space to work out. I feel like a lot of us, I don't know, we're around, we see social media, like you need to look a certain way, you need to lift this much weight for it to count or whatever. And I was just like, no, you don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to be a certain age to walk inside my gym or walk inside a class that I'm coaching. You have value and you bring value. And that's even how we live our life at One Life. Like everyone is welcome and everything is possible. Everybody can take a step in their faith, a step in their fitness journey, a step in their parenting. That's why we're doing this. It's just everyone can make progress.
Yeah, I think that's like our one of the taglines we use a lot too, in our family is like, even with our kids, it's progress over perfection. Right? Like we're not looking for perfect,
right?
Because nobody can be.
Yeah.
But hey, are we moving in the right direction? Are we being healthy with our life?
Mm-hmm.
That includes, in everything. Even our kids at school, they get good grades, but we're not looking for straight A's. We're looking to try your best. Mm-hmm. And are you learning and are you growing? Right. That's the goal with almost everything we do.
That has been a journey for me because I feel like I have to have the perfect grades. I see that even with our daughter, Gianna, like she strives to get all these straight A's. And I'm like, Gianna, you did your best. That B is your best. And it's just even speaking to myself, I did my best in that race. I'm doing my best to create this small business to be successful. Like it's just, but you have to give yourself grace with this. It's also been a journey.
I think what you said though, the journey continues because even for me as a pastor, right? Like in the world of social media,
right?
And there's always going to be a bigger church, a better preacher, right? There's always going to be a bigger budgets out there. We have to stop comparing myself to what the other church is doing, like with what God has given us, and where we are right now in our life. Are we doing our best? Right. And our word for 2023 is progress, right? That is the word that we both have.
It's sensed. Finding that balance, like not settling for, this is good enough, sure. But also, I do want to aspire to be like that, but also being okay with where we are. Yeah. And I actually had a client this week, and I just want her to, I go, you are showing up every single day. Yeah, maybe the weight isn't coming off as fast as you want, but if you could just see yourself the way I see you, that you've showing up and I see your progress and your weightlifting, it's just being kind of content with, okay, where I'm at, but I know I can be here. But that's such a healthy,
that's just a healthy way to live life. Like the people that go on these extreme diets and they lose a bunch of weight, like that's not healthy for you. No. Like what you're teaching people is how to be a lifestyle of health. And what I love too is it's not just faith and church and a business and like we have a lot of fun in what we're doing. We put our heads on our pillow at night, and there's stress and there's all of that with what we do, but
when you find
there's joy, there's lots of fun in what we're doing right now, which is fun, and we'll talk a lot about that too, of how to have fun in the crazy seasons of life, or how can we even bring fun into life.
Because if you're not having fun, then what is the point? You've said that to me this year, because we're both type A, and I get
which makes for a lot of fun in our marriage. Oh Lord. Well, I mean, but that's learning. That I wouldn't say like for me. Like I have a coach that coaches me, and he said the same thing of like if you're building an organization. So I know this may sound weird, but like the church, like I'm the leader of that,
right? And
building the organization, like I'm not having fun, if I'm not enjoying it, what's the point? And he looked at me and he said, you have to figure out ways to enjoy your life.
That's so good.
And part of that, like honestly, for me, is coming into the gym and being with you and helping. Right, yeah. I mean, I have such a small part here, but just like helping us grow this. Right. I mean, that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I know we talked about that even like Christmas, because I think all of us were in that Christmas like cycle. Like, what is happening? We have something every single night, and we went away for a couple of days and just like nice reset. And we just said we have got to every month find something that we are either connecting one-on-one, like going out for dinner, or just finding ways to enjoy ourselves rather than just like in the grind all the time.
And we'll talk about like our rhythm of prioritizing each other and things like that as we go. But all right, so let's go back. I mean, we kind of covered a lot, which I think is good because we're going to cover all these things in the podcast.
That'd be great.
So I want to make sure people know like how we ended up here. So you were coaching a bunch of ladies at the church.
Yeah.
And then you transitioned that from church into, and let's kind of land that to, how do we end up here?
Well, all of us, I just started creating an online program because I knew we've lived a couple places, Michigan, Indiana, Rhode Island. I grew up in Rhode Island. So I knew
they can tell your Rhode Island accent's coming out a little bit.
But I knew there's ways to reach people, and people are watching my running journey. And I said, well, I really feel passionate about helping people with their running and all of that. So I created an online program, and that has just evolved and grown, and it's just been amazing. Every month we have women and men just showing up and working out.
From all across the country.
Yeah. Yes. So that started actually here when we moved here, as well as the classes at the church, and then they just started to grow. When you have a healthy community, it's going to grow. Yeah. And then I was actually renting space at a gym, but then COVID hit. We moved everything online. And honestly, that's another conversation. COVID was one of the best things for my business. You take a lemon, you make lemonade, and
I'm going to say this weekend. Yeah. Like, I don't think we can either become the victim, right, of what's happening.
Right.
So we just kind of took the approach, this isn't happening to us.
Right.
It's happening for us.
That's so good.
And that's kind of like where we
I just was like, am I going to take this and just wallow in self-pity? Like, I just started this amazing class at this new gym. It's super shiny and awesome. And then
and you had tons of people showing up.
Oh, it was amazing.
Right?
I'm like, this is it. And then COVID literally the next month. And then it was just like, okay.
Well, I think too, like, so we can talk about this as in later episodes. It wasn't like we just like day one had this moment of like, let's go. Like, there was lots of like worry. There was many conversations around that. Right. We evolved into this mindset.
I agree.
It wasn't right away.
You're right.
It was tough, but we got there.
I mean, there was I had to grieve it for sure, because like what I thought was happening wasn't in my timing, but the timing right now, how we're here, it's just been really cool.
So you moved everything online, and then when it calmed down a little bit,
yes, I started classes in our garage, and if you followed us, you've seen pictures of that, videos. So
and our neighbors loved us with all the cars out front all the time.
So it got to a point like 6 months out. It was just scary because we all were in that unknown. Are they going to shut us down again? So if I take that leap of faith and open a space, are we going to be shut down? So all those things we can talk about. But
so in the gym, it's growing still online. Mm-hmm. Then you actually had the moment with me. You said, we need a space. This was 2020, end of 2021.
Right.
I need a space.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not true. I'm sorry. That was the beginning of 2021.
Yes.
And so we hired a realtor
yes.
to say, hey, help us look at, spaces. This is what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt like nothing was opening.
We looked, and one person was like, we thought it would be perfect. They're like, well, we don't want a gym here.
Right.
It was like rejection after rejection.
And at the same time, too, like that's when the real estate market was going bananas and everything was like, doubling in price, it seemed like. I mean, it was
a
crazy. Lot of things up against it. And then we get a phone call, like, here's this double suite space in our target area. And
yes, and then this actually was a church, which is crazy to me. And then, so that was October of 2021. We signed the lease. I told Jared, I'm opening it in November for all my people. They need to get out
Can we tell the funny story though?
Wait.
So our realtor, and we have our 3 kids with us. Our realtor brings us in. He unlocks the door, like the little the key box, unlocks it, and he turns the lights on in this space. And there's this back room, and we see movement in this back room. And come to find out, there was a homeless guy who was squatting here. And so we rushed our kids out. He's like, get out of here! Called the cops, right? So our first experience. I don't know if this was
a good side or a bad side, but we did it anyway.
Like, we got to change the locks, though. Make sure they don't have keys. It's crazy.
I forget. You forget about things, and then when you start talking about it, it all comes out, and you're like, that really happened.
But, okay, let's give some credit, though. Like, we got in here. We ripped up the carpet.
Yes.
We took out the ceiling.
Everything had to be gutted.
And we had some really good friends that just believed in the vision, mission, and like, hey, we love to do this. Like, and they volunteered their time. And
some of Jared's closest friends came.
Yeah, my closest friend, like, he owns a really good company and a business, and he gave like employees on his dime to come and
that's
do
the
all
community.
This.
That's what this is. It's just so November. It was like a soft launch. We had just the clients from the garage. Right. So, and then we did a huge lunch in January, and we just celebrated our 1 year, and it's been. Like, I could cry about it. It's just been awesome.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, one of the things, like, and we'll talk about this too. I mean, it's kind of, giving people where we're going. They say the people that you start with, are the people that sometimes don't go with you. And that's been a hard thing this last year we've grown so much, but people that,
you think that will make the journey with you.
Yeah, they just don't. And we're not mad about that. It's just, that's just leadership and things that we're learning of what that looks like.
So when we were in Indiana, someone told me that. Yeah. And I was like, no, people are forever. Yeah. It's forever, and it's not. And that's okay, because everyone has their own journey and their own growth story with everything. Right. So if they're, I will serve. I will be a coach as long as you will allow me to be your coach.
That's so good.
And that has been a learning experience this year for me.
Yeah, and I think too, like, the reason why I think it's just important to kind of hear the story of this is because we've learned a lot, and we're still learning, and some of the things that we're learning, I think, can help a lot of people. And I love what you said. If this podcast, like, if it just inspires one person to, like, step out of their comfort zone or step out, of their fear box, and fulfill the dreams that God's putting in their heart, I mean, like, it's worth it. And take it from us, it is on this side of it, it is totally worth it. With the church side, the business side, it's been an incredible ride, and we can't wait to share all of this with you. And also, one of the things we're kind of excited about too is we'll have a couple podcasts where we just answer questions that people bring in, and it'll be, laid back, off the cuff. We'll bring somebody in, and we'll do it in a way where we're not, like, prepared for it. We'll just answer what pops in our head, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. We'll give giveaways, all types of fun stuff on the podcast in the days to come. Right. Closing word, anything you want to share before we sign off?
I think we talked about a lot of things.
Episode 1 in the books. High five, we did it. Yeah. Hey, here's to starting. One of the things we have learned, right? Like, it's not perfect, but you start.
Exactly.
You start.
Awesome.
And grateful you're along for the ride.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Keep coming back.
Woohoo.